Welcome to the Human 5.0 Project, the podcast where we cut straight to the breakthroughs that matter, the show where science meets self-optimization. I'm your host, Ultimate Biohacker 10X, and here we break down the real research, real data, and real dosing behind modern biohacking, from compounds and peptides to techniques, devices, lifestyle strategies, and performance protocols. Most people jump in and jump out before they get the gold, so we're keeping it tight and delivering the essential insights you need without the fluff. If you've taken the time to hit play, we'll make sure you walk away with valuable knowledge that can transform your approach to longevity, health optimization, and beyond.
All right, stop. Just stop. If you have bought a wearable in the last 3 years, you're probably drowning in data. You wake up and your watch tells you your sleep sucked. You sit down and your ring tells you to breathe. You stand up and your phone tells you to stand. And by 10 a.m. you have anxiety because a number on your wrist told you that your readiness is low. That's not biohacking. That's data noise. Massive data noise. And it's making people fragile, not optimized. This is Ultimate Biohacker 10X here with the Human 5.0 Project, and today we are doing a standalone deep dive called Biohacking for Dummies, Wearables and Tracking, Weekly Essentials to Optimize Health Without Data Overload. So if you're new to the space or you have been wearing a tracker for years but still don't know what the numbers actually mean, this is going to be your playbook. We're cutting out 80% of the metrics that are just vanity data. We're focusing on the 3 signals that actually tell you if you're moving forward or falling apart.
We're locked on.
No fluff, no quantified self-obsession, just the weekly review I actually do for myself. Quick disclaimer, this is educational and not medical advice. Wearables are tools for trends and they are not medical devices. If something feels wrong, see your clinician. Don't ask your watch to diagnose you. Cool? All right, let's clear the noise. When the first wearables hit the market, the promise was simple, awareness. But somewhere along the way, awareness turned into obsession. Here's the reality check your algorithm will not show you. Data without context is just anxiety. If you look at your HRV or your heart rate variability and it's 10 points lower than yesterday, the bad biohacker panics. The good biohacker says, why? Did I eat late? Did I drink alcohol? Am I getting sick? Did I overtrain? The number is not the enemy. The interpretation of the number is where we win or lose. I want to introduce a concept that I call the signal-to-noise ratio. In any complex system, your body, a radio, a stock market chart, there is signal, which is useful information, and there's noise, which is random fluctuations that just don't matter.
Clear the noise.
Most people are checking their wearables 20 times a day. They are reacting to noise. They see a dip in their step count at 2 p.m. and think something is wrong. We don't do that here. We zoom out. We look at the trends, the big picture. We look at weeks, not hours. Because if you optimize for the day, you're going to burn out. If you optimize for the decade, you're going to win. I wear sensors. You probably do too. But when I do my weekly review, sometimes bi-weekly, it's usually in the morning with a coffee, I only look at 3 things. Lever 1, heart rate variability. And this is the resilience score. It's not your heart rate, it's the time gap between your heartbeats. If you have high variability, your nervous system is balanced. You are resilient and you can handle stress. If you have low variability, you're in fight or flight. You're rigid. So what do I look for? I don't care about Tuesday versus Wednesday. I look at the 7-day rolling average. Is my baseline going up over months? Good. Did it crash because I traveled and ate garbage? Well, that's not a crisis. That's just data telling me that I need to recover. Lever 2, deep sleep and sleep regularity. And this is our repair window because sleep tracking gets a bad rap. Because people get orthosmia. They can't sleep because they're worried about their sleep score. Here's the only thing I look at. Deep sleep. Was I close to my baseline? Usually 1.5 to 2 hours for most adults. I tend to run on the lower end of that. If deep sleep plummets, my brain's not cleaning itself. Timing, I look at that too. Did I go to bed within the same 30-minute window every night? Because irregularity is worse than a short night. And of course, I mentioned this before, I also try to get up at the same time every morning, no matter what I have on my schedule. Lever 3 is your resting heart rate. This is your engine idle. If you wake up and your resting heart rate is 5 beats higher than your normal range with no explanation, that's often the earliest sign of incoming sickness, inflammation, or extreme stress. The rule? I look at these 3 numbers. It takes 4 minutes. If they're in range, I trust my body and I live my life. If they're out of range, I don't panic, I just ask why, and I look for a lever to pull. Now, let's talk about what I don't look at, because if you're a beginner, these are the traps that will make you crazy. The trap of step count. 10,000 steps is a marketing number. It is not a physiology number. If you get 6,000 steps but spent 30 minutes in zone 2 cardio, you're better off than someone who shuffled 10,000 steps around their kitchen. The trap of readiness scores. The algorithms that calculate your readiness are guesses. They are fine for a nudge, but if the ring says you're low readiness and you feel great, trust the human and not the hardware. The trap of calorie tracking. Wearables are terrible at calculating calories burned. If you eat back the calories your watch says you burned, you'll probably overeat. Use wearables for physiology and not for accounting. Data is useless if you don't have levers to pull. If you look at your Sunday review and see HRV dropping, here's the hierarchy of interventions. Lever 1, light and timing. Light exposure in the morning is the single fastest way to fix a shattered nervous system. If your HRV is tanked, you don't need more supplements, you need to see the sun. Lever 2, the eating window. If your deep sleep is low, look at when you ate. Food raises heart rate and body temp. If you ate 60 minutes before bed, you're asking for bad sleep. Close the kitchen 3 hours before sleep, don't snack, don't graze. Try it for a week. Lever 3, movement consistency. If your resting heart rate is creeping up, you might be under-moving or over-moving. Sometimes low readiness just means you need an active recovery day, walk, mobility, stretch, etc. Lever 4, the environment. Blackout curtains, cool room temperature. We're talking 67 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit in your bedroom. No screens an hour before bed. I know, these are boring, and they're not sexy, but they move the needle more than any $300 supplement stack. Here's the final piece of the playbook. The ultimate biohack is knowing when to take the watch off. I take 1 day a week, usually Saturday, where I don't look at the data. I listen to the body and not the screen, because the goal of biohacking is not to become a slave to the algorithm. The goal is to become so in tune with your body that you can guess what the data says before you look at it. If you need a wearable to tell you that you are tired, you have lost the plot. The wearable is training wheels. Eventually, you gotta ride the bike. Look, the wearable industry wants you to be addicted to data. They want you to check hourly, buy the next upgrade, obsess over the minutiae. I want you to be free. So here's the simplest version. Track the big 3, HRV, deep sleep, and resting heart rate. Look at trends and not days. Ignore the vanity metrics, steps, calories, etc. Pull the levers that actually work, light, food timing, movement, and environment. And once a week, take it off and just be a human. I promise you will be happy and at peace. If this breakdown helped you clear the noise, share it with someone who is overwhelmed by their smartwatch. Next time we are talking about light and hormones and how the screens in your pocket are quietly disrupting your endocrine system and the cheap fix nobody talks about. Stay vigilant, stay well tracked, and stay free from the noise. This is Ultimate Biohacker 10X, and I'm out. Thanks for listening to the Human 5.0 Project.
If you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who's ready to elevate their biology. Make sure to follow the show for weekly deep dives into peptides, protocols, devices, lifestyle strategies, and the science of high-performance longevity. Until next time, stay curious, stay optimized, and stay 10X.